You're listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy. This show is brought to you by queerness@anycost.com and austrian-legacy.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/response_legacy. And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 46th episode, Take Me to Church of...
In response, I'm impressed by this intro.
Podcast.
Exactly.
Peter, you totally missed your job. So go ahead.
I'm Peter Plank.
And I'm Philipp Klein.
And I'm Daniel.
And we talk about legacy.
Most of the time.
Oh, well, this didn't go as planned. Or well, we didn't plan anything, but it wasn't that fluid. Let's say.
Normally it works a lot more smoother, like we did in the last episode, but this episode wasn't like that.
I was just surprised by the singing of Philipp.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I didn't expect it. You know, unexpected.
Unexpectedly absent.
But you have to
You
expect
were-
the unexpected.
Exactly, and that's the reason why.
Oh,
Okay.
we are really going that far.
What do we talk?
In the rabbit hole here. So, as the title may suggest, we talk about the second biggest fish in the room.
The religion.
The
The
Pope.
religion.
The Pope, yeah.
The Pope.
What?
I understand it. Dope.
Hope.
It's dope to talk about Pope, yeah.
No. We're talking about Triumph of Saint Catherine.
In this episode, yes.
So basically, we all went to church now, and we all bought a full playset of Triumph of Saint Catherine.
Yeah, they are all worshipped and all, you know, with the, how do you actually call it, the water that they use in the
The holy water.
holy water. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
if you're also a believer in the holy water and in the Church of Triumph of Saint Catherine, why don't you join us on Patreon like Christian Neutz and Matt Duncan already did? So join us on patreon.com/response_legacy.
Yeah,
That was smooth.
that was smooth, yes.
Not like the intro.
Okay.
But yeah, how do you feel about the card and why did you two bought it at first place?
Honestly, the story is quite short for my part.
Okay, tell me.
I went onto Twitter and I scrolled through the last couple of results and like the last report from all the different kinds of people. And Triumph has been in talk over Twitter, I think, since it was spoiled. But of course, then afterwards, it's not in Magic Online yet, and you didn't really get to see it in action. And then it was released to the paper Magic, and there was one event that Max Torschen went to, and he posted that he won the event with a spicy new brew, Jeskai Control, Saint Catherine Control, which is just Jeskai Control. Very grindy. With the win con is just 2 copies of Chase the Mind Sculptor and Catherine, Triumph of Saint Catherine.
We will say Kathy in short.
Kathy, yeah, we can say Kathy, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And Chase, of course, makes sense so that you can set up your Kathy quite nicely. The miracle trigger, and he won the event with the deck, and I immediately wanted to try it, and so I bought the playset. That's my story for
Peter.
how I went.
What was your story?
I mean, I don't think there is a bigger story. I think I also saw some pics on Twitter, and then I just thought buy it while it's cheap, I would say.
Yeah, I thought too.
And
So you don't use Mango Finance?
I tried
Buy
to.
hell, never sell?
Buy high, never sell. Yeah.
Not really. In the last 2 weeks, I did like 2 or 3 good buys, which seems pretty good on my part, usually on the lower end of the stick.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual for you.
No, I bought them, and I thought like maybe I want to try them in a Jessica control list and stuff like that. Maybe I can brew around Jessica tempo, and then I bought them, and then I saw a list that you will definitely talk in the next few minutes.
For sure.
And thought like it's a pretty damn good buy. And then the card was like 12 or 13 euros, and I bought them for 5, which seemed
It's okay.
like a good buy.
I had the same
You
deal.
had definitely made the right financial decision right there.
I mean, you weren't that bad around it with the cooperation of our local game store,
Yeah, that's true.
but could have been.
What is the price of Kathy right now? Do we know?
I think
Yesterday I looked it up. The first Austrian
it's
seller.
15 euros.
Yeah, but the first Austrian seller I think is on 22 or 23. Okay, not anymore. 17.
1760. Yeah.
1760. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I got myself also a playset for 5.
Oh wow.
5 a piece, I
Very
think.
strong.
5 for 6.
560 German copies at Spielraum.
Wow. I have. Bless you. I have. Thank you. Thank Catherine. Bless you.
Yes.
I've bought my 4 copies for 10 each. So
That's still
not
fine,
that
I think.
good.
Yeah, it's still fine. I mean, come on. It's a
It's
good card.
like 60% lower than it currently is.
Yeah, probably.
So it's
But
good.
love me some Triumph of St. Catherine. So basically how I got to them was about the Twitter post that Nicolo Covoni has posted, and he basically invented I don't know if he invented it, but he brewed around with
Uwe Denial.
yeah, it's with Esper Sentinel, Wasteland Days, Stifle, and Triumph of St. Catherine. And I looked it up and it was like, oh fuck, this looks so sexy, and I want to play this. And I tried it out in one of our local FNMs. That was 2 weeks prior to this cast right now, and it was insane. I went 3-1, just losing against one of the biggest content of one of the hardest matches, probably against Aluan. That's something I think you can't beat with this deck. But it was smooth as fuck.
Yeah.
Against mono red Stompy. It's just like, oh, turn 3 Kathy. Have fun handling this.
Oh, yeah.
And I finished the game with 60 life.
How could this happen?
he needed his goblins to
Yeah.
block all the time.
Yeah.
It was just so fun. And this card felt so good. So basically this deck plays Esper Sentinel, Triumph of St. Catherine, and Murktide Regent. So everything you can wish for. But I gotta admit, I think Esper Sentinel, or going the total denial route, is the wrong way to go because you don't have so much pressure on board. So the first thing I did was cutting Esper Sentinel. Because they felt so bad. They were often attacking for 1 and 1.
Yeah. They're good on turn 1, but afterwards
They are not,
not really.
Not even on turn 1 they are so good, because they just, okay, bolted, and then I go, and then I do my thing. And it's the only thing that can get bolted in this deck. So, well, that's pretty much shit. But yeah, you guys can guess which one drop I put into instead of Esper Sentinel.
My name? Say my name.
Daniels?
Langweilt.
I put in Daniels? No.
4 Daniels.
I put in 4 Delve of Secrets.
Yeah.
Actually, I couldn't really play that much with the new iteration, quote unquote. But as far as I can tell, it works really smooth. It's so nice. Now the next worst card in the deck feels like it's Stifle.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I still want to have them in. I already thought about cutting them a 4th Katherine and a Spell Pierce and a Brazen Borer, and then I have 1 slot left, and maybe it's a Portent. Portent, yeah, as a ninth cantrip.
That works nicely with Katherine.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Why not mix?
I mean,
yeah. The problem is you don't get to draw a card right away. And on top deck mode, it's really bad.
But it works nicely with Katherine, so that I can merge her in the opponent's turn.
True. Yeah.
what do you think about like switching Delvas to Dragon Rage Channeler and putting in Baubles?
Then you're so hard on free color.
Yep.
And the problem with Triumph of St. Katherine, I don't know if in the pre-show we talked about it, it's extremely, or let me phrase it differently, it makes expressive iteration worse.
Yeah. It's a bad carding combination.
And it makes expressive iteration that bad that predict suddenly looks better than expressive iteration.
Which is a thing that doesn't make sense, is it? Because expressive iteration by its own is just incredibly good.
Yeah, but then you have some iterations with Katherine, and then do you want your 5-drop in your hand, or like Peter said, exile it and play it never again, or put the miracle card on bottom of your deck and take the 2 worst cards?
But if you think about like putting in Dragon Rage Channeler, which Dragon Rage Channeler makes Predict really strong, and Predict is a good carding combination with the Church, with St. Katherine, which maybe is like the triangular that we want to have in the deck.
I think you can try this, but the real big appeal to this whole deck is that you're pre-board straight blue and white, and you get to play 3 basics.
And so, do you play a red in the sideboard?
Yeah.
For the blast?
For 3 blasts,
okay,
a meltdown, and 1 end the festivities, and I think 1 price of progress.
Okay, so I have one question then. You talked to me or to us actually that you played against Delver, and specifically against the Delver matchup, it should be a very good shell. You have your Katherine, which is a very good card against Delver, but of course we know that Delver is not the only deck in the whole field of
that's
decks.
true.
So I have one question. Delver can beat control with expressive iteration. How can you beat control? I think
that's
you don't.
That's a good question. I have to try it.
I think you just don't, because you don't have any card advantage.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think this is one of the problems with this deck. It can beat Delver, and it's fun, and it doesn't. But I think it has a weakness that it can't utilize something like expressive iteration to full extent. You need some kind of, when the Murktide or the Katherine gets sorted, how do you get back into the game? You need to refuel somehow. This is the way that Delver is operating right now, and I think this is my eyes at least one of the weak spots. I fully get what you're saying, that expressive iteration doesn't work that nicely with Katherine, but
I'm pretty much more concerned about the mana base in this regard.
Makes totally sense. Yes,
that's my biggest gripe here. That's why I wanted to put it more into the blue and white way, and don't want to splash red for expressive iteration or go heavy into red for Dragon Rage Channeler. So for sure you can just play you can't just splash white for Triumph, but I think the white removal is really great at the moment.
It's really great, yes.
You've got the 4 swords and the 4 prismatic endings, which put you far ahead of Delver.
Yeah.
And the next thing I see is, if you're going that route with putting in Darcy's and expressive iteration, aren't you just really playing a bad version of blue-red Delver?
Yes, I think so.
And aren't you better off going 2 colors with blue-red Delver here, right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I personally would go a little bit more into the control-ish direction with this card, rather than a tempo version.
Yeah, for sure.
This is then at least, and I'm gonna back off a little bit later when I explain, because I think specifically for this card it helps control to beat Delver, as your kind of tempo version helps to beat Delver. But I've played the Cheska control version, for example, with the Katherine that Max Thorsten posted. It is a nice fitting deck. I had the same experience as you said with Expressive Iteration. It is not that great with Katherine, but it's not so that I would say, okay, I don't want these 2 cards in my deck. I still want them. However, Katherine is not solving any other problems against other matchups. I think Katherine is, if I kind of set up my Katherine to cast against another control deck, Sword is just a really good card against me.
Yeah, that's true.
Suddenly. And there's a really big problem. I don't, when I'm a control player, I want the removal from my opponent to be dead. And Katherine just negates that.
That's true. And you... what I wanted to say is, if you put it in a more tempo shell, you have more targets.
Yeah.
So even if they have a lot of removal, that probably won't exceed, 7 or something. And if you play enough creatures, something will stick.
In that sense, yes, but you need to refuel to get to the creatures.
Yeah, but the problem is like with the St. Katherine, we all always talk about it. It's the 2-drop that we have, but what is the turn that we can realistically set up the card?
On 3.
Not on turn 2, yeah.
Not on turn 2.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's
a
a turn 3 or turn 4 play.
You don't want it to get dazed.
Yeah, and if we have a turn 3 or turn 4 play against control, we're already in the mid game.
True.
So this is not the turn 2 Tarmogoyf that we're talking about.
Or turn 2 Murktide sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
or turn 3,
it's a turn 3 or turn 4 play, and there it competes like with Murktide, which is a 7/7 or 8/8. I mean, the Murktide doesn't have Lifelink, but Lifelink is pretty irrelevant if you're talking about like being a tempo deck wearing against control.
Yeah.
It also gets stalled by Uro, which is also a huge thing because Uro is a 6/6, it's a 5/5.
Another
the Swords to Plowshares. I mean, Prismatic Ending is not the removal that it hits, but Swords to Plowshares basically end the whole advantage that the card have, because the advantage from the card, especially against Delver, I mean, it's a 2-for-1 because it needs 2 bolts or an Unholy Heat. Unholy Heat exiles it, am I right?
Unholy Hit.
It just kills it.
It just kills it. Yeah,
So
it deals 6 damage.
Okay, it gets back into the deck, which means like you have another life gain engine and another clock coming in a few turns. The problem is, like with Swords of Plowshares, it's gone.
It's
forever.
gone, yeah.
And
exactly.
this is a big strength of the card. It's like a concurrent engine that can win the game, or a concurrent threat that can
But
win
not
the game.
against white decks.
But not against white decks.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think if you go heavy into the UV denial,
Blue-white
blue-white denial. V means W in English. In blue-white denial, you don't really have to mid to late game to compete with them. You kind of have to hope that they played spells early into your Esper Sentinel, so that you have a little bit of card advantage built up. I think the list of Nicola plays like 2 predict.
To predict, yeah.
To predict. So you have like the option to predict 2 times. They have a 4 expressive iteration and Mystic Sanctuary and Uro. So you are
that's true.
pretty far behind.
You have Mystic Sanctuary yourself. So
Yeah, but if you play like an Sentinel on turn 1 or turn 2,
that's
and
why
they play the Uro on turn 3, and if you happen, clap your hands and you lose.
Yeah, that's true. But you have that's why I made the first switch to Delver, to have more pressure on board.
But you
So that
don't
makes sense.
But the difference to a traditional Delver deck is the second threat from Delver comes down on turn 2. In your version, the second threat of your deck comes down on turn 3 or turn 4. With setup needed. That's the problem of the deck. You don't really have the second beater coming in.
But you need also setup for turn 2 Murktide.
But they have the Dragon Rage channel. They
Yeah,
have 8 1-drops.
but that's a setup that you need.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you need the perfect card for turn 2 Murktide to really shine.
I'm not talking about the Murktide that comes down on turn 2. They will have the second 1-drop on turn 2.
Yeah, okay, that can happen for sure.
Yeah, and the problem is like most of the decks keep hands with 1 removal. So if you have like the one removal spell and your opponent has like one threat in the early game, you have the one removal. But if the second threat comes down on turn 2, you need to dig for the removal, which hinder the capability of the opponent's deck turning their early turns into the mid-game turns. There they can set up for the late game, which slows the deck down a little bit. I mean, you have this in form of Wasteland nowadays.
Yeah.
But Wasteland is also a thing that Delver does. So we are always comparing Tempo decks to another and saying Delver is better. I mean, I'm the worst. It's a different kind of Magic, but I think you kind of need to have St. Catherine in the Murktide slot. As bad as it sounds, it's
No, I don't think so.
not instead of Murktide, but it fills a similar role.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. But it should not be instead of
No,
Murktide,
it should not be
because it's
instead
just
of
a verse.
Murktide.
Yeah.
But it fills the role
Yeah.
of Murktide. It's not the threat on the second turn, which is like, if we're talking about previous iteration in the last years, it was always Tamagorth, Young Pyromancer. It was always the 2-drop that came down. And
Yeah, that's true.
Catherine is not the 2-drop.
That's true. That's definitely
It's
true.
not,
yeah. But what are good 2-drops in blue and white that are not Stoneforge Mystic?
Yeah, that's the reason. And I think Stoneforge Mystic is just a card that would fill the role better if we're talking about strictly this kind of stuff.
So
But if we go further around and play something like a turn 1 Mother, for instance, to Stoneforge Mystic,
We have now a Death in Texas deck.
now we're going into white. Not Mother Prunes is a joke, of course, if we're talking about like Delva, Stoneforge Mystic, St. Catherine, for example. We have now the curve again where it feels like the Murktide role. And you are
Stoneforge
pretty...
Mystic is so slow.
Everything is slow in this deck.
It is faster than Catherine.
Yeah.
Stoneforge. Stoneforge can attack with a 5/5 indestructible on turn 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Catherine likely just gets cast on turn 3.
Yeah. So it attacks on turn 4.
It takes in 4. I think Stoneforge is fast, but it is easier removed. It is more fragile. And Catherine is safe from ending
needs
kind
way
of and
more
bolt
setup,
and it needs more setup, yeah. And like the points you all made, it feels like a Murktide, but we already have Murktide, and there's expressive iteration, which is already the kind of grandy tool in that sense. I don't see this card in the Tempo Shell. And I also think it might fit a control shell the best, but only for a specific meta game where I want to tackle Delver specifically, not against other decks.
Because against other decks, if you're talking about control again,
They just sorted.
no,
Sure.
you want mentor. It's
Yeah.
like the
Mentor, yeah.
mentor. You want the mentor here, and so it's like a very, very, very niche card where you want it in your control deck to battle against Delver decks. And this is the reason why I think this card is great against the in the deck I have an idea on. It because I play like Cheska Kitten.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I play Cheska Kitten. And Cheska Kitten, the kitten combo are 4 slots. 2 Displacer Kitten. Then I have a Chromox and a Fastest Oracle.
Okay.
And if I slot those 4 cards out, I have a strict control deck with like 6 to 7, 6 forces, the 8 removal spells, Teferis, Narsets, stuff like Snap,
Iterations.
Custom Age, Iteration, Brainstorm Ponder, stuff goes on. And then I slot in the 4 Triumphs.
After sideboarding, you mean?
After sideboarding.
When they side out the removal.
For example, against Delver. Then I have like all the removal I want. I have 4 times a good beater against them. I have also the Pyroblast in the sideboard that I can move out, can move in instead of the forces. And then the game plan is coherent, like your deck is, for example. The control deck from Extortion. So I think this is kind of the thing I want to keep going with this card, because it's a good card, but I don't think it will establish a a real
I fully
beat-em
agree.
format.
I played it yesterday, the Jessica control very not yesterday, last week on Friday, and I played against, for example, Alurin.
Yeah.
I mean, Alurin has already a really good matchup
Yeah,
against
and just so far
but
behind.
how pissed or how kind of helpless I felt
Yeah.
against all the Strix and Icewind Kotal when I just set up everything, cast one triumph, and then I can't attack with it.
Yeah,
It
that's true.
just sits there. It's so bad.
And for example, if you have now, instead of the 4 triumphs, the kitten combo, you have a realistic win condition against these combo control decks, as we talked in the previous episode, 45, with Cephalith Breakfast. Because Cephalith Breakfast, Alone, Food Chain, all those decks are really hard to beat with just a usual grindy plan. But if you just combo them out, you combo them out.
You come out, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Actually,
It's kind of hard, yeah. So I'm really don't know about you, but based on all these observations, I think the card is a legacy card, but
It's really strong, but it needs the right shell to fit in and the right slot.
It is not like
So you would put it basically in Stoneblade.
I mean,
it is a mid-range.
it's kinda. The problem is like currently, I think we can play it as attack instead of Murktide. Not because like Murktide is bad, but if your opponents expect you to have Murktide, they have Pyroblast.
Yeah, it lives through blast.
And this card is really, really strong against blast decks.
That's true.
And the thing is like maybe it is good in decks like Stoneblade because you can put in a sort of fire and ice onto it or just a chit or something like that. And 7 is really strong because 7 is bigger than Murktide, for example, or just with 1 count on the chitte, it can beat Murktide and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's a question. You can experiment with the card for sure. I just don't think that this card or this shell is like the best controlled shell or the best version that you can find because there's a lot of
the Maxtortion one.
The Maxtortion, for example,
Yeah,
it is not at least for me.
I also think the Maxtortion list.
He just tackled Delver, I think.
Yeah, it's
insane.
Shits
on Delver, yeah.
It shits on Delver, yeah.
It should be very good against Delver, yeah, absolutely.
It's also great against Mono Red Stomper, but I gotta say, I don't see this deck winning against Initiative.
No, and also not against 4-color control, and also not against Alurin. Alurin is not really a...
we talk so much about the Allure because the 2 or 3 Allure players in our
local
community, and we're biased in that
but
direction.
in general, you can disregard Allure probably, but Initiative is a problem, of course. I mean, you have to have adapted deck a little bit because of... We see a top warp, for example. Things like this need to be there.
Yeah, you need like 2 top wars or something like that. But top war is also bad. I mean, in this case, with custom mages.
But 4-color control alone, I think I'm not comfortable playing against 4-color control with this deck, for example.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because Uro is just bigger. That hurts.
Niskimbu is still a problem.
But yeah,
swords.
Actually, I like the approach of slotting this card into Stoneblade. You have still all the advantages that I want to have with going straight to blue and white. Maybe just splashing red for the blast in the sideboard.
You could try it.
Triumph taking up the Murktide slot, and then you have Stoneforge Mystic as the 2-drop slot, like I said.
Yeah.
But what is then the 1-drop? Or do you need a 1-drop?
I think you need some card advantage.
Yeah.
Still.
You need for sure card advantage. The problem is like it's...
What card advantage was played before Expressive Iteration?
None, because nobody has had access to Expressive Iteration, so you don't need it that much card advantage.
Do you know what card advantage was played? If you talk about Mark Eric
I mean,
Vogt,
if I don't play
Archmage's
days...
Yeah. He played a 1 of
Sometimes.
Archmage's Charm.
But Expressive Iteration was also...
What about accumulated knowledge?
It was being played in Miracles.
I thought about it because it's usually not that bad with Triumph because
it's
you draw
not a bad card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can slot it straight into blue-white.
But I would play predicts, because you can set up predicts with ponder and
maybe just play bubble predict
bubble
package.
predict, yeah. Or you play Dragon Chainland as your 1-drop.
But then you're in tempo reach, and we already said that it's not a tempo card.
But speaking of Stoneblade, we can actually have this is maybe just a little bit discourse, but we can have a look at the nice deck list. We completely forgot, actually.
No, we haven't forgotten. We
okay.
didn't got to...
I didn't want to just go it right away, but I think this would be a nice segue. I don't know.
I mean, we have to think this deck list is really, really strange, because it's like Marcus Ewald. Track is 1 to 3.
It's
which
very
is
unusual
known to play predicts in his decks.
Yeah, so no
And he
predicts.
plays
Come
4
on.
barbers,
Yeah.
but not a single predict.
Yeah.
It's like Esper Kitten combo. He went top 8 at the latest challenge. It's like 8 of the white removal, 8 of the blue cantrips, 4 Stoneforge Mystics. Yeah. We are Stoneblading the Kitten. 4 Baleful Strix, 2 Narsets, 4 Teferi Time Reveler, 2 Displacer Kitten, 4 Force of Will, Battle Skull, I called it complete. Pretty clean deck list.
Yeah, I like it. But the one thing I'm not really sure here, I see the 2 Surgical, the 2 Forces, and the 1 Opposition Agent in the sideboard.
Yeah.
And the 4 Strixen. What makes black here better than green?
Or maybe a red for blast.
Or maybe red, yeah. For blast iteration.
I don't think.
Good question. Next question.
It's just.
I mean, you can flicker the Strix with the Displacer
think-
Kitten. Yeah, okay, I get that.
Yeah,
But you
you-
could also flicker Ice Fang Quartal and have access to Uro from the sideboard.
Absolutely, I would agree.
Or Life from the Loam, or Veil of Summer, not Veil of Summer, Carpet of Flowers.
I think the story behind this deck list, or like the evolvement behind this deck list, is actually funny, and that's just
It's Esper Doomsday. It's Esper Doomblade, yeah.
He started with Doomblade. He played Doomsday combo with Stoneforge Mystic. Then he ditched Stoneforge and he just added, I think, some point Kitten and some point
Doom Kitten. It was Doom Kitten.
Shield Red.
Yeah.
And now he just went back to Stoneforge again and ditched the Doomsday, actually, instead of the Kitten. So it is just, yeah.
It goes the same route like Philipp Breakfast, which has the Stoneforge Mystic and the combo kill. And that's basically the same, just ditching the graveyard and using the kitten combo.
I would not be able to win with this deck because I don't have any card advantage. I still
You have
lose
Baleful
to.
Strix.
It's not really a card advantage. Come on, this is no expressive iteration. Breakfast, for example, has Ursa Saga, or I don't know.
I have to say it feels also pretty low on the enabling.
But Marcus is a good player
for Displacer Kitten.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you have like 4 Mishra's Bauble, but then you have like basically your 8 cantrips.
Yeah, that's not really
that's
much.
everything. And in the Cheska builds, you have also the 4 expressive iterations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you have like just a little bit more on cards that I can still have in my hand that I can enable the combo to go off. Because you just need one of those in your hand. Because the combo is basically the Spacer Kitten plus Teferi plus any instant sorcery or I mean basically any non-creature spell. Yeah. I mean the 0 basically enables the combo to win. But if you are just coming back to your turn, or for example, the value engine will start.
For bouncing a Baleful Strix, that's you 2 cards.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is really insane, yeah.
Yeah, but you still need something to enable
need
it.
something, yeah.
And it's a 2-man investment.
You can sort your Strix.
Yeah.
And then bounce it. Is this possible?
What
You
to
can
sort?
sort Strix and then bounce it. But that means you have also
You
Baleful
spend a
Strix
card.
on it.
You spend a card to get a card.
No, with
right?
the Displacer Kitten, you trigger in response to the swords and then you flicker your Baleful Strix.
But you spend your swords to draw a card.
Yeah.
It is not a card advantage.
No, it's not a card advantage, but it's something that can enable going into the combo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For example, I won with Kitten and Teferi and Narset in play, where I sorted my displacer kitten.
Triggered
Trigger, flickered now set, sorted my displacer kitten in response to the first sword, and then flickered kitten to dodge both of those, and then off the NASA trigger, I found them a 0-drop to win the game. With
to win the game, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
There's a lot of different interactions where you could do a lot of different stuff. Of course.
I mean, I like this deck, but I'm not really
and you
keen.
can flick a Caldra, for example.
Yeah, that's also pretty nice.
You can flick a Caldra and Better Skull to get back the token.
But yeah, the only thing I don't really like about this iteration here are the black.
There is no
Black, yeah.
iteration.
About this iteration of the deck, yeah.
Yeah.
Is the black. And I'm not really sure what black brings to the table that green doesn't.
It's more flavor, and I think Marcus likes his
Playing
Bale
Esper?
play for
Probably,
Strix and the color, yeah. But as you said,
I'm also a fan of baleful Strix.
Me
I
too.
like it
Yeah.
way more
the
than
best
core
creature
attack.
ever printed.
But you can still play surgical. And for the 2 forts in the one opposition nation inside, but it just doesn't look great.
Doesn't warrant it, yeah.
You just put in 1 ur instead of the opposition nation and 2 carpet of flowers in the sideboard. And
I would just
you
be
call
very,
it a day.
I would just be very afraid of Pyroblast with this deck still.
Yeah.
Or again,
Everything is Pyroblast stable besides
Kind
Stormwatch
of,
Mystic, Swords, and Ending.
this is so mana efficient. I play my Teferi, it gets blasted, or even my Displacer Kitten, it gets blasted. I mean, this, wow, it sounds very horrible.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, for sure.
So we should play Orange Chance.
That would be the solution to it all. Yes.
I think the problem, if you go full on combo with this deck, it falls apart pretty quickly. I think you lose to Delver then.
This is as we said with Doomblade, I think is like you play your Stoneforge, your opponent spends all his resources, and then you win with Kitten combo. And
It's a
with
it's a
Doomblade,
combo, yeah.
you play Stoneforge, your opponent spends all his resources, then you win with Doomsday.
Yeah.
This is basically the same archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Kitten,
It
you
is similar.
don't have a Thassa's Oracle.
Wait, what? How do you win?
I think it's just a value card.
It's just a value card.
It's not to win, but it's just to flicker all your
Strixen.
fairies and Narsets and Strix and
Yeah.
Stoneforge maybe, or the equipments.
Doesn't feel like one Thassa feel free.
Not
Not
if you
really.
don't want to draw it. So in that sense, not really.
That's another thing for green. You could play a Living Wish.
Now we get into real deep
No,
extremes.
no. But
You know me.
I think
okay, yeah, Kitten is just
A value
a
engine.
draw 2-3 cards, hopefully.
Yeah,
And
it's a
dodge all
value.
removal.
So this is not Doom Kitten. This is good
Stoneblade.
old. Yeah,
This is Stoneblade.
It's
Esper
Stoneblade.
Stoneblade.
It is Esper Stoneblade, yeah.
Take a look what a kitten's worth now.
Like nothing, I don't know.
Kitten should be a little
bought
bit.
it. You bought it really high, am I right?
I bought it for 5 euros, something like
5
this.
to 8, I think.
Yeah.
Twice chunks kits.
The same price. Yeah, pretty much the same price.
10, yeah, okay, that's 20. 20
Or
for
was it
2.
10 euros? I don't know.
And the Teferi, the time level? I mean, 4 seems a little bit excessive.
Yeah, but you need it. I think you really need it.
Teferi is just so good
I have
in
2.
combination with.
I think in general not, but in this deck, yes.
Yeah, you need it. You need those.
Yeah, these are the good ones.
Have you? Do you have the old bottom ones?
Yes, I have 3 copies of the old book.
For how much did you bought them?
I think this price, 30 euros, I don't know.
Do you know that I bought this plus Khan and
This was
the best thief of the universe? How's it called? Deck Faden.
the secret there was
35.
25, was it?
35.
35. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I mean, I could totally
I don't need the
see
other
this
ones.
deck, yeah.
And the cards are nice, yeah.
The Khans are
Really expensive.
Yeah.
the Khans are 30. Okay, this was one of the best investments I ever made.
The duck is not so much. The duck is
Yeah,
10.
it's
It's still 10 euros.
So you paid 30 for all of them?
35 for
You
a
get
set
like
of those,
double
and
the
it was
value.
like
And you pay
70 now.
And did
Double
you
value.
get 4 of the sets or the secret layers or?
I've gotten 4 of those.
So you
yeah.
paid 120 and
No, it was like 140.
140 with shipping. Okay.
No, with shipping,
And
150 or
it's
something.
now
Okay.
close to 300.
And
I don't
they
know.
are now to 280.
Yeah.
Wow,
around
very
about.
very nice. Yeah.
If you would
That's
buy the playset, yeah.
I mean, at first I didn't like the kitten combo from your part because it felt very all into me and not really that great. But in such a value shell like this, I can see myself playing it.
It is still a very good, protective, and valuable card, flickering stuff, and you just can play it on turn 4 and pass the turn. You need to have a backup. You need to have some spell that you can play when you have it out to protect it.
Something like a daze, or maybe even have the force, for
Brainstorm
example.
or force, yeah.
Because it just doesn't. Daze, for example, is such a cool card together with Kitten. Because if they have 6 mana out and they cast Swords to Plowshares and you daze it, it doesn't matter if they pay. Because the Kitten is flickered.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so cool.
Maybe I will get myself some kittens.
It is definitely the fun deck, and props to Marcus for winning this. Or not winning, but he went
Get
7
into
in a
top
row,
8.
Top
7 and 0, and then he got into top 8, and I think
And
he
he
lost
is-
in the quarters, I think.
And game 3 he lost with 4 lands and 34 spells left in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically flooded the hell
Yeah.
out.
And he
my
made a very
gosh.
good meta call. He played 4 dress down in the sideboard for the white initiative deck.
Yeah.
You need them.
And because we're talking about Pyroblasts, he plays 2 Hydroblasts
And 2 mystical dispute.
and 2 Mystical Disputes.
Every blue
Really cool.
deck, in my opinion, should have 2 Hydroblasts now in the sideboard right
Yeah.
now.
The 2
Every
Hydroblasts
deck.
are so strong
They're
also.
very good.
The
yeah.
question is, do you board an Hydroblast against Red-White Initiative?
No.
No.
I don't think so, yeah. It's just
You
a
only
so
hit Caves of
small
Chaos
number
Adventure.
of them. And they have Cavern of Souls.
Dev Cavern, you could just, in theory, blast the chaos.
Caves of Chaos Adventure.
No,
but
the other one, like the sideboard card, the flash one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah, in the last episode, I have no
The
idea.
Ambush Viper.
Yeah. But it's not worth it, I think.
Not really. But Dresden is a card that is definitely
Oh, yes.
we need to look out for. Do we have any other topics to go over?
I think this pretty much
what do
covers
you
that.
play for the Friday FNM? I want to start off with that.
Okay.
Because
we
you
seldom
have one
talk
more.
about our own plays.
I want to talk about it. I have now
Oh, yeah.
3 decks in the coming.
Okay.
Deck number 1, I will play most likely on Friday. Grixis. How I missed the name. It's Grixis Attraction Control
With the
It's-
Infinity cards?
with the Infinity cards.
Do you have a sticker card or sticker deck? Or
No,
the
I
attraction
have
deck?
an attraction deck.
Okay.
I have bought 10 different attractions.
The best one you could get?
The best ones that I think could be good in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I play 4 of the lifetime pass holder or something like that,
What the fuck?
which is a card that will return if you roll a 6 for your attractions. It's a 2/1 that enters the battlefield tab, which is horrible for any control deck. But I play Caval Therapy in the deck to sack it, and then maybe get back. And when it dies, you open an attraction. Then you play 2 of 1/1 for 2, which is like the Baleful 6. When it comes into the battlefield, you open an attraction. Then I have 3 DK, which is a 3-drop.
Yeah.
When it comes into the battlefield, you can guess. It opens an attraction.
Yeah.
And it has like different effects if you roll a 2, a 4, or a 6 for your attraction rolls. And then the top end of the list is Myra. I think it's Myra, which is like a 4-drop. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery for your hand, from your hand,
You open a
you open an
Attraction,
attraction,
yeah.
exactly. And it has like a 3 and tap, and you can exile an instant or sorcery from your grave and then
So it's
can cast
actually-
it or something like that.
Sounds more like a mid-range deck.
Yeah,
Kind of a grindy mid-range.
Like with a lot of removal and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
basically, like a little bit of a mid-rangey. You have a lot of token engines from the attraction deck. You can win with like how's it called? Balloon stand, where you can make 1/1 flying balloon tokens, or like the clown factory, where you make
What the fuck am I
1/1 clown artifact
now?
creatures.
Does this feel like magic?
Then you have something like the bounce chamber in there that bounces a creature that you don't control, for example, and much more, or tunnel of love, where you can have two creatures fight against each other or face them. So
love.
or like Ferris wheel, there you can face a lot of different creatures your opponent currently have. So it's like a very, very adventurous evening for myself to lose with all those artifacts on the
I'm
battlefield.
pretty stoked if you go 4-0.
Because then I have to make a picture of my main deck, my sideboard,
And your
and
trash.
my attraction deck.
And then we put all this into our Twitter.
I will put it onto Twitter, however it runs. Then for the future, I have like a red-black painter with Chaos Defiler and Phyrexian Dragon Engine, because I learned there is a normal Dragon Engine running around, which is like pretty old. And Mishra, claimed by Gix, which is apparently not a good investment. Which is like the thing that melts together with Phyrexian Dragon Engine, and then you have the 9/9 Mishra attacking your opponent with various triggers every turn. So pretty cool. And then for the near future, I have like the kitten combo deck.
Very impressive.
Church.
With church.
With the church.
Sounds like a good lineup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Daniel, what are you playing?
I have my eyes on, let's say, 3 decks also. And it's not Jeskai Katherine, because I don't think, I mean, it has to do with that this deck, I don't typically see it very good in our meta game. We have one white initiative deck, we have a couple of Alluring decks. I don't see myself playing Katherine in that meta. I don't think it is very good. However, I want to have, therefore, another control deck. And I like control decks, but I need like a good finisher.
Okay, I see where you're going.
I don't have. I'm not sure if you guessed this one, but it is just straight up 4-color control.
What the fuck? I didn't guess that.
Where's
No,
the
really.
main condition?
Oro and Endurance and Minskimbu.
You're playing the Ozymandias list.
Exactly.
Okay.
This one, I really want to try this because I think it is good against Jeskai. We have a lot of Jeskai decks in our metagame. I think you can win against Alluring because I have 2 Coselex Return and a special Torpor Ops and 2 Dress Down main deck, which is also good against Alluring and not only against White Initiative. Dress Down and Torpor Op are really good against those. So I think this kinda is okay against Alluring, which is a big problem, I think, in our meta. And the only thing I fear a little bit is Stompy. I'm not sure, like a Blood Moon really just kills this deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And with 2 Stompy players, so that's not that far.
But particularly don't play many Blood Moons anymore. They're more like on the Blood Suns, and I think this is more fine-ish, but it's still,
It really shuts off your fetch lands, and if you keep a hand with full of fetch lands, you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So this could be a problem. I'm not sure about this deck, but I would definitely want to try it because I think it's probably the best control deck out there at the moment. The second one would actually be Alluring itself.
Oh fuck, the next one, oh my god.
I think this is...
How can we hit this deck out of the meta game?
Torpor Ops. Torpor Ops is very good.
Dress downs.
Yeah.
So 4 dress down, 4 top ups.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play Dreadnought.
But I like this style of having a mid-range deck with a combo finish. This is kind of my style.
Mono blue Stifle Knot it is. Get wrecked initiative.
Yeah.
Get wrecked Alluring.
But I'm less sure about Alluring, but I have the cards now. I just bought them. Alluring is a nice investment as it is a reserve list card for sure. And the last thing that I really, really, really want to try, but I'm sure it will not be that great, is Breakfast.
Ooh, that's what I thought it was at first.
Yeah, Philipp Breakfast. I don't have many cards missing. I just ordered them, so I will have this ready, and I really want to try it. I just have a fear that Parablast will be very good against me, and Gravitate can be good, of course, depending on how many endurances are in our format or in our metagame, and I think typically there are quite some endurance.
You can, for our listeners, if no one plays Graveyard decks for 3 to 4 months, you can count on 4 to 6 Graveyard Hate cards in each sideboard.
Yeah.
If no one plays Graveyard decks.
Players in our metagame love Graveyard Hate.
Yeah.
And for this reason, I think Breakfast doesn't really perform that well, but I want to try it. I want to give it a try. I like the idea of having Stoneforge, Mystic, Caldra, and Ursa Saga as a grindy engine.
And it's Esper. Esper is always really
Esper is
cool.
also nice, yeah. And yeah, these are the 3 decks I have my mind on. Less so for the other stuff. I'm not jumping on the initiative train. I don't have any soul lands whatsoever. It's just insane for me. So yeah, I think I will explore those decks in the future. So what about you, Phil?
I mean, I've got the initiative cards, but
Yeah?
I'm missing Chalice. I'm missing
I have the same
Archon of
problem.
Emeria and Emeria's Call and Solitude. I think I can borrow Solitude, but I'm missing so many cards, and I'm also not jumping on that train right now. And I gotta say, I have a feeling that this deck won't be how is it called? Okay, Archon of Emeria is nothing. Yeah, but yeah, I don't have those.
Yeah.
I also got a gut feeling that these cards aren't here for a long time.
Like ban-wise? Are we teasing some ban?
I don't
Ideas
want to
here?
dive into ban talk
I
here,
mean, it could be the case.
but the cards were getting banned out of Pauper pretty fast.
Yeah.
Initiative makes huge waves, and it depends. I think Legacy has the potential to adapt to the deck, and I think it's just flavor of the month, and maybe it falls off. But if Legacy can't adapt, and it how do I say this, and it just proves that it's a very, very, very extremely strong deck, then I can see maybe that they are banning it before banning anything out of Delva.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to buy into shelling out €2 per Archon of Emeria. No, but actually buying Chalices and Emeria's
Yeah.
Call. Also Emeria's Call is, I think, 10 or something. It's also pretty expensive, quote unquote. If I could buy a real card, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Okay, 5, but yeah, it's also $20 again.
Yeah.
And it just summarizes up, yeah. So I for myself will play this weekend again the
Blue-red Delver.
the Cheskai list with the Cheskai Delva.
The temple one, the Katherine.
The Katherine for this week for sure. I will just don't play the Stifles and put something else in. I'm not entirely sure which cards at the moment. The second, oh my gosh, I had it beforehand. What was the second deck? Yeah, was like black-white ephemerate.
I almost wanted to guess something like this. I wanted to say something with Mardu colors.
Yeah.
So basically the deck that was around in Modern at the one of the release of Modern Horizons 2.
I'm not entirely sure.
They were like with
There's a 5-0.
Ephemerate, with the
Solitude, Grief, Ephemerate,
Solitude, Grief,
Malakir, Rebirth,
This one, yeah.
something like that. And there was one in the 5-0 dump from last week. It looks really solid, but I need someone to borrow me Solitudes and Griefs.
Yeah.
So I think that's dual, and that's also on my radar for the near future. And I totally forgot about the third one. Maybe I will try anti-Tess. Because these decks I have in my collection since 2 years or 3 years,
You need
and
a
I
pair
never
of
played
old
them.
dices.
Yeah,
I wanted to
bought
say
them
that.
actually.
You need to try the
Paradise
best,
Lost, yeah.
the best version to try, at least right now. I'm not sure if it is best, but is the straight up bug version without Past in Flames.
Probably, yeah.
This is also kind of my longer list to try, but in general, I think that Ant is not really good in the format, so I have problems with the deck
that's
in
also
general.
my problem.
It
at
is
the
just
moment.
unplayable in my opinion. But yeah, this would be a nice deck to try.
And if initiative gets really high in the meta in our local game store, I will try to battle it with Stifle Not. With Torpor Orbs, Dress Downs, and Stifles.
Yeah. The problem with Stifle usually is like it's such a bad card currently.
It's such a bad card if you don't have targets.
No, not only the thing with targets. The problem with Stifle is like we're currently in a meta or in an era of Magic. I kind of want to say we are not where you have to be proactive, and if you turn one past the turn and your opponent doesn't put a fetch land into play
And fetches.
a
A turret.
You're just lost.
You're fucked.
Yeah, that's
It's-
true.
It's so bad.
That's true.
And
Now I have the deck idea again. It's Grixis Iconoclast.
Iconoclast.
So Grixis Pyromancer.
is it 8 Pyromancer then?
I'm not entirely sure.
Eight
Something
Mensa.
like
Six.
that, yeah.
It is-
6 Mensa probably,
Six
yeah.
Mensa.
6 Mensa.
Sax Mancer.
With Cabal Therapy again.
You have to play the Sax Mancer too.
You know what also plays Cabal Therapy? Saviour with Breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Grixis Attraction Control.
So
I also like me some Cabal
Cabal
Therapies.
Therapy is the story of today. Bring back the good cards.
Yeah, I think.
But it's just sexy if you cast Cabal Therapy, get a token, flashback Cabal Therapy from the token, get a token. That feels so good.
Do you know
Yeah.
what feels even better?
Get an attraction.
Hex and Probe before.
Yeah, that's true. But you can play Peak. For a real note here, you could play Urza's Bobble and get to know one card of their hand, and then
Because it combos with the Iconoclast.
Iconoclast. You played Urza's Bobble, you get a token, you can play the Cabal Therapy, say the name in their hand, then you get a token and they can do it again.
You just made me realize how absurdly broken Gitaxian Brogue is.
Yes.
Compared to Urza's Bobble. How bad is Urza's Bobble? You just see one card and draw your card later, as opposed to you see the whole hand and draw your card now.
Yeah.
This is
amazing. I mean, it does cost 2 life. Isn't that a real cost?
Oh, okay.
No,
Urza's
not really.
Bobble doesn't cost any life. Okay, wow.
But yeah, I can see
I just
trying this
realized
out.
And you can see it in the draw step if they are hellbent.
True. So
It's way better.
way better, yeah.
But yeah, that's on my bucket list. I probably know, and listeners of the show will know that I'm always playing in some shitty decks and shitty cards. But I hope it makes fun at least.
That's most important, yeah.
That's for sure.
I played long enough Blue-Red Delver now.
You played like for 2 or 3 weeks.
For
Long
about
enough.
a month. I played it for about a month and it was serving me well.
Okay. You look different now. You look different.
Yeah. The bird is growing longer and longer.
But yeah, any conclusio words?
The conclusion is
Have fun with Legacy.
get your Catherines.
Probably, if you want to try them.
Yeah.
If you have an idea.
I think it's probably not the worst investment in the long run.
The conclusion is it's not really clear if Katherine is all that great.
But it's on a pseudo reserved list. Because
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
on the Warhammer IP.
Oh yeah, true.
So the stock will only go up, and I think
It will,
it will find its place as soon as it hits MTGO.
Yeah, this will be very, very exciting. What happens then?
It has the potential.
It has potential to see some play. Yeah, absolutely.
Just playing with it, it feels extremely strong. If it sticks, it can be removed very easy. So, like a lot of cards actually.
I think
We wrap it up.
wrap it up. Yes.
Okay, if you like what we are doing, consider following us on Twitter. It's @response_legacy. And also take a look at our homepage. It's www.greatness@anycost.com. And
/in response.
/in response, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a dedicated page there.
Oh, perfect. Very nice. And also you can find me on Twitter. It's @PhinnikMTG, PHINnikMTG. Peter, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter. It's @unicornlord, but the O in the Lord is a 0. Where can we find you, Daniel?
Always on Twitter, it is @flyingdevil, or just also can follow my twink insectal aberration. No, it's just a joke.
It's on OnlyFans.
It's on OnlyFans.
But yeah, conclusio in response. The end.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.